All right, welcome. How's your day? Hope things are going well. Yeah, it's been a good day. So let's talk in this video today about the difference between SEO and LSA ads and Google ads. And if you don't know what LSA ads, I find a lot of contractors actually don't know what LSA ads. I'll explain what those are. But I'm going to talk about these three things, when I like to use them, their benefit, and the downsides. And then I want to talk about how these blend together for you to be a profitable business and to grow your business, how I would grow my business, especially if you're just starting out or you haven't been spending a lot on ads or marketing. Okay. So this should give you a pretty good idea of the approach I use for a lot of my clients to help get them going so they can be investing. That's my goal always, is to make it so that you're investing. You don't want a cost, you want an investment. Meaning the money you're paying for SEO, LSA, and Google ads is coming from business you're getting from LSA, Google ads, and SEO, not from your pocket, right? You want to be investing. So that's my goal here. So I want to talk about it in that light, where we can talk about how to make money from this, put that money back in, and grow from that. Cool. I think that makes sense. So let's just go. Let me quickly go through these if you don't know them. I want to show you where these pop up. So LSA ads are local service ads. They're the first thing that pops up. These type of ads, you just go in, right? So if I come in here to an LSA ad account, you're gonna go to local service ads. Do a search for that. It's going to make you go through and do your business verification. You're going to have to go through these steps to get verified. And then you literally are just going to come into your dashboard and set how much you want to spend every week, right? And how you want it to bid. And then which job types you are willing to accept, the jobs that you do, type of work you do. That's it. That's it. It's not like any other kind of ad platform. You literally just say, I do these jobs. Whenever somebody searches for any keyword that fits into a job that you do, you're going to show up, or it can show you, and you're going to get leads from that. Okay. So that's what these are. All right. Very easy to set up. Say that again. They're so easy. So this is where those show up. Secondarily, we have Google ads. These are traditional Google ads. That's this, okay, or this, right? These are the type of traditional Google ads. Here's some down here as well, right? These are traditional Google ads. That's where you show up when you run those. They take a little bit more work, right? They're keyword based. And then this is SEO, especially Google Maps SEO, which is what I focus on. These are the kind of results that you show up for in here, or in Google Maps specifically, but this is just literally the map pack where it's showing Google Maps results on the search page. So those are the three different places that you can show up for in those three categories: SEO, local service ads, and Google ads. Those are our three. So look, and here's how I think about it. If we're just starting, we want to be able to get some footing, right? Start getting some people in the door and doing what's going to give us the best cost per lead over time, but while also getting clients in the door today. And we want to do this in a way that is going to be the best for us long-term, but also cost effective in the near term, so we don't burn out. Okay. So now each of these is just levers. So we have, how much does it cost us to get a lead, and how much do we make from a lead? Those are the things that matter, right? So all of these in home services, it's not like you're selling some kind of crazy product that is brand new, no one knows. Your service is understood. So the cost you pay per lead with these three different platforms is going to be profitable. You should be able to be profitable because it's a reflection of your business, of your service, of your competitive level in your industry, and how much people pay. It's not rocket science, right? You're going to pay. I'm just saying these are profitable. All of three of these avenues have profitability. Now, what I like to do is I like to start with LSAs. For everyone I talk to, the local service ads are the fastest way to turn on something that's easy to run and that gets you customers in the door, starting right now. So you can invest into the other areas. Now, I usually will tell people to start SEO at the same time, and I'm going to go through some numbers here really quick, but I think you should start putting some money into SEO. It's going to be the long-term play, but it's going to be the best cost per lead over the long term. So you want to start getting into that. And then I put Google ads to the side. Traditional Google ads, I wouldn't touch those yet until you have some money to test some things and to get that going. Maybe a few months down the road, maybe 3-6 months down the road, once you're doing LSA ads really well and that's working, then you can start looking into Google ads. But I always tell people to start with LSA, that gets you people in the door right now, and SEO, that's your long-term play that's going to really kill it for you. You want to start that today. So let's look at some numbers. And like I said, look, all that really matters here is our cost per lead, our cost per closing, and our average ticket. So here's a campaign that I'm running for a company. You can see their cost per lead is $72. This is for all marketing, not just one of these. And I'll go through the individuals. Their cost per closing is $173, and they have an average ticket of $21.38. So that means good. This is great. The amount we pay to get a client is less than 10%. That's where you want to be. You want to be under 10% in the long run. Starting out, this might not be the case, but this is kind of gives you a goal where you're trying to get to. Your numbers are going to be different, but generally, right, you can see the math we're trying to do. So let's look at how this breaks down into each of these. So first we have Google ads, Google search ads. Right now we have a cost per lead of $177, cost per closing of $447, and a $2,400 average ticket. So this is not working very well, but I think this will improve. I personally think this is going to improve, right? This is a long horizon, but this should be more in line, right? So we're going to need to fix something in this. Either the cost per lead has to go down, or we got to close more of these deals, right? But that being said, generally, Google Ads is going to have a higher cost per lead compared to all of these other channels, but typically the average ticket is higher. So Google cost per click is going to have a higher cost per lead, but also typically a higher average ticket. So that's your benefit there. Now let's go down here. We have Google local service ads, where we can see they have a cost per lead of $117, so slightly lower, but they have a average ticket of $1,700, so it's lower. And this is kind of in a similar position, you know. Close rate maybe needs to come up a little bit, but that's something the business has been improving. So that's what I see with LSA ads in a lot of areas. I see that LSA ads have a lower, I would say middle of the road cost per lead, but a lower average ticket as well. Why? I don't know. Does it vary? Probably, but that's what I see. So we have Google cost per click, higher cost, but higher spend from the client. LSA's mid-tier and a mid spend for the client, maybe a little lower, right? And then that takes us to our last. Here's our organic leads, which we have a cost of $37 per lead and $84 per closing with an average ticket of $2,100. So it is a much lower cost per lead and a higher cost average ticket. So, as a company, as a company whole, as the whole company, they're getting a good overall cost per lead and closing an average ticket. So that's good. That's healthy. And we see two areas where that might be not in line, but if we can get that up in line, then that even goes higher. Now maybe we're only spending 5% of a closing, margins go up, right? So that gives you an idea of the game. So that's why investing in SEO is always going to be something you want to do, even if you can just, I like to start cheap. I don't charge my clients a lot to get started. I want it to be very easy for somebody to get going, do what they need to with SEO with me so I can start building that, because the long-term value is insane. But the quicker I can get started on that, the quicker you can get there. And then have my clients run LSA ads. Put your money into it. Get clients, get the phone ringing. That also helps you get the reviews that you need to build the SEO and get that. Now we're going, right? Now you're spending money that you're earning, not out of your pocket, not debt, you're investing back in yourself. Boom, boom. Now we add on Google ads. Boom, boom, boom. Now we add on something else, right? Now you're working on your sales team. That's getting better. Everything improves. Everything tends to improve with a good business and a good business owner and a good team that's looking in the right direction. So I'm not like one way or the other. I think where most business owners get killed is doing things in the wrong order because no one is actually explaining it to them properly, but also just they don't know. They don't know where to go. And so hopefully this gives you some insight. Look, LSA ads, if somebody's telling you, hey, let's do some Google ads, and you're not doing LSA ads first, that's not a good idea. Okay? Unless you've done the LSA and you have some reason that's not working for you, which I've not really seen. But a lot of marketing companies, they're going to take your money if you ask them to, right? So spend a little. I think you should probably be spending between $500 and $1,000 on SEO. That's your range to get started. In the future, you're going to want to up that. You're probably going to be wanting to spend $2,500, $3,000 on SEO in the long run, because there's more to do than just the Google map, right? We talked about the traditional SEO. There's stuff that you can do there that's effective. But I think to start off, $500 to $1,000, that's a good SEO budget. Put your money into LSAs until you can't anymore, or until you figure that out and get that dialed in. Then now you have everything you need to get more business. Now that SEO is starting to roll in, now add on Google. That's my map for starting a business, starting a successful local business. I've seen it work so many times. It still works. It's easy to get started. You don't have to try to do Google ads. They're too complicated to start with. So I hope this is helpful. I hope it gives you an idea of the difference of how I approach this and what you can expect as your cost, and why if I'm going to put these in order, I'm going SEO first. Then what's more effective? Probably Google ads, if you can get that dialed in. But LSAs and Google ads are going to be in a similar vein, but you're not going to get the return on your investment in those like you will with SEO. SEO is long-term. It takes time. It's not going to give you a return right up front, but you saw that difference. $120 per lead versus $37, right? That's like 4 times as much, right? For a Google ad or an LSA ad. It's just in the long run, and look, I don't count spam. So you might be saying, hey, I'm getting LSA leads for $80 or $90. I don't count the spam. I take the amount we spent and the amount of real leads we got. So that is always going to be higher because you're going to get spam with Google ads and Google LSA ads. And I don't count spam in the SEO either. So my cost per lead is real leads. Okay. So whatever you think you're getting on Google ads, whatever you think you're getting on LSA ads, it's probably going to be 20 to 50% higher. I just want to throw that in there that you have to kind of anticipate that. So whatever, I could talk about this stuff all day. Hopefully this helps. If you have any questions, josh@brightbeamseo.com. I got a Google Maps, how to do Google SEO, Google Map SEO, a free download at brightbeamseo.com. Or if you want to talk about your business, starting a business, where you are, growing a business. If you're a young entrepreneur, maybe you want to start a plumbing business or you want to start some kind of business, you're a contractor, whatever you want to grow. I want to help you grow. I want to help you sell your business in 10 years. That's the big conversation I'm having right now with so many people. You can sell your business in 10 years for a lot of money if you prep and you do a good job and we build it. But set your sights there. Set your sights high. Go for the freaking stars. Go for the moon and the stars and the sun or whatever. Some kind of song lyric. All right. We'll see you tomorrow.